Smart friends. One scientist needed volunteers for his experiments. Two friends, William and Oliver, agreed to take part in the testing. They needed money, and the scientist promised the experiments were going to be totally harmless. Wink wink. But soon after the guys arrived at the laboratory, they found out it was a trap. In reality, the scientist planned to test the volunteers' reactions to different poisons. He separated the friends and locked them in different rooms. The only way to escape was to do it together. Unfortunately, the scientist was extremely cautious. William and Oliver didn't see each other. One of them could use the bathroom only in the evening and the other only in the morning. And still, in a couple of days, the guys managed to get away. How did they do it? You have 8 seconds to figure it out. They wrote messages to each other on the steamed-up mirror in the bathroom using their fingers. Later, they could read the messages by breathing on the mirror. An accident on the yacht. Camilla was on a luxury yacht cruise around the Mediterranean. One morning, she woke up and discovered that all her expensive rings had been stolen. She rushed to the captain and asked him to find her jewelry. He questioned the crew and guests and found 3 suspects. Matteo, the sailor, told the captain he had been too busy refilling the scuba gear for the morning dive. Andrew, the cook, said he had been creating the menu for the following week. He didn't pay attention to anything that was happening around. Stella, another passenger, claimed she'd been exhausted after diving the day before. She went to bed and didn't wake up until the captain came to question her. After thinking for several minutes and looking around, the captain realized who had taken the jewelry. Can you figure it out too? It was Matteo. He claimed he had been refilling the scuba gear, but oxygen tanks were still at 0. Deleted data. Mark, the CEO of his own company, came to work and switched on his computer. In a couple of minutes, he jumped out of his seat, grabbed the phone, and called his friend Lucas, a police detective. When the man arrived, Mark told him all the data connected with a super important deal had been erased from his computer. 3 people had come close to it, and Lucas questioned all of them. Allison, the accountant, told the detective the computer had been frozen. She just pressed several keys on the keyboard and everything started to work normally again. Logan, the IT specialist, claimed he had only updated the antivirus software and hadn't touched anything else. Evelyn, the secretary, said she had been with Logan. The only thing she did was to restart the device. Lucas took fingerprints from the computer and around it, and that's what he discovered. In no time, he knew who had deleted the files. Can you figure it out? There weren't any fingerprints on the keyboard. It means Allison lied. A prom mystery. Emma had been dreaming of becoming a prom queen since childhood, and there was a good chance her dream would come true. She was popular, smart, and beautiful. Emma wanted to live stream the ceremony on Instagram while they were waiting for the results. But there was no Wi-Fi or reception in the school gym where the event was taking place. Emma was upset at first, but soon she concentrated on the prom MC's words. "And now we'll find out who the prom king and queen are. Wait, where's the box with the votes?" Someone had taken the box and thrown all the votes to the school swimming pool. Now they were impossible to read. The principal had 4 suspects. Ava claimed she had been dancing the whole night, like the rest of the students. Steve said he had left the gym for a minute or two to answer a phone call. He was back in no time, though, and continued to have fun. Liza explained that she had had a fight with her boyfriend after seeing him with another girl. She ran out of the gym because she didn't want anyone to see her crying. And Aiden said he had lost his tie at some point during the night. He was looking for it when the accident happened. Who's lying? Steve is the liar. He couldn't leave the gym to answer a phone call, because there was no reception inside. Hide and seek. Michael invited his friends to come to his house for a party. After eating and dancing, the young people decided to play hide and seek. The only place Michael asked his friends to stay away from was his uncle's study. The guy explained that his relative was a weirdo, and his room was likely equipped with all kinds of traps. The game started. Daniel was having problems finding a safe hiding place. Panicking, he sneaked into the first room that was on his way. Only after the door closed behind his back and the lock clicked did he remember Michael's warning. The door he had come through had a password lock with letters on it. Totally perplexed, the guy looked around. Was that a slip of paper in the corner? He picked it up and saw 4 numbers on it. 1659. Daniel thought for a while and got out of the room. How did he do it? The code was the first letters of the 4 numbers, OSFN. A prison escape. Once a prison guard accidentally overheard very disturbing rumors. Someone was planning a prison break. The guard watched all the footage from the surveillance cameras and discovered that 2 women had been behaving suspiciously. One of them was a former bodybuilder, muscular with short hair and covered in tattoos. The other was quiet and reserved. She preferred to spend time on her own and sometimes cried in her cell. After watching the video several times, the guard figured out which woman was planning to escape. Can you do the same? It's the second prisoner. There's a file in her bun. She can use it to get through the metal bars. A desperate millionaire. Nathan, a successful entrepreneur with a multi-million-dollar business, and his friend Jackson, a famous private detective, returned from a long-term trip abroad. They decided to stop by at Nathan's villa on the way to the city. When the men entered the house, though, they saw that everything more or less valuable had been taken away. The entire villa was a mess. "I've only been away for a month. What's happened here?" exclaimed Nathan. Jackson took an apple from the dining room table and started to munch on it thoughtfully. "The lock isn't broken. It means that the person who took your stuff had the key." After a while, the detective asked Nathan to invite 3 people. Mia, Nathan's niece, told Jackson she hadn't visited her uncle's home. She had been having serious problems with her car for already 2 months, and the villa was too far away from the city to get there by public transport. Sarah, the maid, claimed she had stopped by several weeks ago to bring some food and tidy up, but since then she hadn't been to the villa. Adam, the gardener, told the detective he had been on vacation and had just returned. He even offered to show his plane tickets to Jackson. The detective immediately understood who was behind the mess. You have 8 seconds to figure it out. It was the maid. She said she brought food several weeks ago, but the apple Jackson grabbed from the table was perfectly fresh. An art class. Once, Ms. White heard someone crying. It was her little student Abigail. The girl told the teacher her cookies had been disappearing from her locker. Someone had been taking them for already several weeks, but Abigail didn't know who. Ms. White decided to help the girl. They equipped the locker with a simple alarm that had to go off if someone who wasn't Abigail opened the door. They hid behind the corner and began waiting. In 10 minutes, they heard the alarm. When they reached the locker, it was already empty, and there was no one nearby. But Ms. White noticed somebody disappear behind the art room door. She rushed inside, but everything looked normal. And still, the teacher needed no more than a minute to understand who had been eating Abigail's cookies. Look at the picture of the art room attentively. Can you find out the answer within 8 seconds? It's the girl on the left. Her painting's black and white, but there are only various shades of blue on her palette. And maybe the cookie crumbs are a giveaway too. I don't know.